How's it going, Guardians? Shifty here, and today I'm back with another Legend Lost Sector guide. In this one, I'm going to be covering the K1 Communion Legend Lost Sector on the moon. Now, I know that the moon lost sectors are not the fastest, but they do make up 4 out of the 11 possible Legend and Master Lost sectors. That means at some point in the season, they may come up on a day where you feel like farming exotics. So overall, I still think it's helpful to make guides for each of them. In this video, I will be showing you a full run on a Warlock, then just the boss fight on a Titan and a Hunter. The reason for that is because the run is the same pretty much all the way up until the boss fight, and then it deviates pretty significantly. In just a moment, I'm going to go over my loadout, but before I do, if you end up enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright, let's start by going over my subclass and exotic choice for each class. On my Warlock, I went with Bottom Tree Dawnblade, and I paired that with Sun Bracers. I picked Sun Bracers because I like the longer solar grenade, but this exotic is not required and you can choose whatever you want here. Then on my Titan, I went with Bottom Tree Sunbreaker, and I'm using Precious Scars for my exotic. Now this exotic isn't required, in fact no exotic is required here. You can pretty much use whatever your favorite one is. I figured I'd like a little extra healing from Precious Scars since I am using Tiku's Divination. And finally, for my Hunter, I went with Bottom Tree Gunslinger, and I paired that with Celestial Nighthawk. This setup will actually help me avoid having to fight the barrier champion during the boss fight in this particular Legend Lost sector. If you do enough damage to the boss fast enough, you can actually avoid the spawn of that barrier champion and still get a platinum completion. Alright, now I want to move on and talk about my weapon selection. In my kinetic slot, I do have the Scathelock auto rifle, and this is for barrier champions. Then in my energy slot, I have the Tiku's Divination Solar Exotic Bow, and this does get a 50% damage boost in this Legend Lost sector due to Solar Burn. This I'm going to be using for ad clear and for overload champions. Alternatively, if you do not have Tiku's Divination, you could always use something like Le Monarch. However, that's void, so it won't get that 50% damage boost. Also, if you don't want to use a bow in your energy slot, you could always go with something like Arctic Haze, which is a solar auto rifle. This will get that 50% damage boost, and you can use this for barrier champions. If you do choose to use something like Arctic Haze in your energy slot, you may want to go with a kinetic bow for overload champions. Then for my heavy weapon, I am using the Void Linear Fusion Rifle, Threaded Needle. This is going to be to take out void shields and to do damage to bosses and champions. And for my armor mods, they're going to be the same on all 3 classes, so I'm just going to show them to you once on a Warlock. All I'm going to do is quickly show you each piece of armor, and if you need to see anything in more detail, just pause the video. Alright, and that's all I have for my loadout in this one. There will be timestamps if you want to skip to a particular part, otherwise let's jump into it. Alright, so right at the beginning of this one, you just have to be careful because there are several enemies right in this first room. And we do have a barrier champion. I'm going to go ahead and use one linear fusion rifle shot, then break the barrier. And now I'm going to finish it off with my linear fusion rifle. And before I jump down here, I want to clear out the enemies down here. When I do decide to go down, there will be enemies that come out of this doorway right here. And some that came out of a doorway to my left. You can also see we have a Void Servitor and a couple of snipers in the background. I'm going to go for the snipers first. And now I can go for this Servitor. So as you can see in the bottom left corner, another champion has appeared. And I do have some enemies off to my right here. As you can tell, Tiku's Divination makes an excellent weapon for this particular lost sector. I'm going to throw a grenade on that champion, get it to barrier, have my auto rifle ready. Alright, now we can move on. Just through this doorway to my left, there will be a couple of invisible enemies. And then we're going to have our first overload champion through this doorway. I'm just going to use Tiku's Divination to take it out because it's such a strong weapon against overloads. Especially with that 50% damage boost. I know the moon lost sectors are not the fastest lost sectors in the rotation, but they do come up about 36% of the time. They total 4 out of the 11 possible lost sectors this season. So I'm basically just abusing Tiku's Divination in this lost sector because of the explosive damage. Just like that. Took out 2 vandals for 1. Take that out. And now that the room is cleared out, we should have the boss spawning. I'm just going to toss a grenade over there. I'm going to go ahead and use my super here. This will just help me do some damage to the boss immediately and clear out some of the adds in the area. And now I'm going to retreat to the opening of the room. The boss should rotate around to the left as you see right now. And you can see over there, there is a void shielded servitor. I'm going to take that out right off the bat. And now I want to go for the boss. After a while, the boss will rotate around to the front side of the room. If there are enemies back here, just be careful. Looks like I did do enough damage to the boss to actually get it to rotate around to the left side of the room from this side, or the right side of the room if you're standing at the front. So just be aware of that. The boss does rotate around the room depending on what its health level is at. And as you can see over there, we do have a barrier champion. I'm going to try to get it to barrier here. I broke the barrier, and now I'm going to finish it off. There we go. Make sure everything's reloaded. And I'm going to rotate around to the front as the boss went towards the back there. Careful for any exploding shanks. And the boss should go down any second now. There we are. And now I can head for the chest. And there we have it. That was a platinum completion of the K1 Communion Legend Lost Sector on a Warlock. Now, I did take it a little bit slower as I was trying to explain things. You can always speed up this strategy to be able to complete it a little bit faster. Now I am going to show you just the boss fight on a Titan and a Hunter as well. Alright, the boss should just be spawning. I cleared the room out just a second ago. So I'm going to go ahead and pop my super here. Now I am going to retreat once my super is almost up. The boss should significantly rotate around the room since I did do quite a bit of damage here. So in this case I do have to be careful because it may end up in the front of the room. In fact, here it comes. Yep, there's the boss. So I'm just going to try to clear out some of the enemies here first. Like I said in my Warlock run, the boss does rotate depending on how much health it has. I'm just trying to clear some of the enemies blocking the doorway out here. And now I can head to the other side. Trying to toss a grenade over there, why not? So I significantly weakened the boss. However, there is going to be a barrier champion that I have to fight. So I'm going to take that out before I finish the boss off. So the barrier champion should be somewhere around here. There it is. I'm going to use these stairs as cover. I'm going to use my linear fusion rifle and then break the shield and finish it off with the linear fusion. Now I should be free to clear out the boss. All the champions are down, so when I open the chest over here, I should have a platinum completion. If you're not comfortable rushing the chest like I did, then you can clear out the rest of the room before you head to it. In my case, I got lucky enough where I was able to open the chest before I died, but I still ended up dying, but I got the completion anyway. Now all I have left to show you is the boss fight on a hunter. Alright, I'm just about to take out the heavy shank here and spawn the boss. As you can see, I have knock him down up to 23 seconds. We'll see if I have it for the boss. And I went ahead and supered the boss immediately, and now I'm going to retreat to the front of the room. So a celestial golden gun does a significant amount of damage to the boss. There should be a barrier champion somewhere around here. Sometimes if you do enough damage to the boss fast enough, you don't have to take out the barrier champion. Looks like I was able to skip it this time. So if you don't get a barrier champion to spawn after doing a significant amount of damage to the boss, then you should be free and clear to take the boss out. So that is what happened in this case, and I had no barrier champion and I still got a platinum completion. Basically, you're taking the boss out faster than the groups of ads can spawn. So if you can take the boss out before that point, feel free to do so and head right for the chest. It's easiest to do on a hunter when you have Celestial Nighthawk and Golden Gun. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe. I just want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.